2023 is here, and yeah, there are a lot of things happening, and I want to go live and talk about them. Code a little bit. I mean, a lot. I only have about 45 minutes of coding session right now. So I know no one is watching, and that's the best place for me to just go wild. So what I'm going to do right now, it's something really simple. I'm just gonna play with code, but as part of me playing with code is actually uh, uh, showing you, or whoever is watching or will be rewatching this video, showing you just how on Friday afternoon you can have fun with while building something fun, not like like stressful or anything like that. So I'm a huge fan of tRPC. I'm a huge fan of Prisma, TypeScript. What else? What else do we have here? There are a lot of technology that I'm actually exploring at a level where um, I really want to master them in a certain way. But today, I'm just gonna be using technology that I know really well, and that I want to, yeah, I just want to have a Friday afternoon chill and a 45 minute of coding session. However, there are other things happening. For example, this week I spent a lot of time working with a technology called Pack.js, and yeah, I think I'm gonna do a live stream maybe next week on Friday. If you're interested in Web3 technology and you want to embrace, um, you know, a new way of thinking in terms of writing code, I'll be happy to, yeah, just go in the comment and then say, show me some packs, show me some pack, right? And I will indulge, right? But for now, I'm just gonna play with JavaScript, TypeScript, right? Okay, so let's make sure that everything is working well. So what are we going to build? So let me show you. Um, we're going to share the screen here, and it's gonna go really fast because the stack is so incredible that there is no way you just don't go crazy with that. So um, today I actually, a few days ago, 2 days ago, I installed Microsoft Edge, and that thing is actually fast. And I start using this thing called u.com, that is basically an AI search engine that you can basically start using today. So what we're going to build is this. So app.packages.io. So I'm if you new here or you don't know, we never met and so on and so forth, that's okay. My name is Davey. I'm a software engineer, and I'm uh, I'm building this learning platform at Hackages. And the idea with Hackages learning platform is we provide high-level content for people to learn and improve their coding skills. We don't go from, hey, you never code before in your life, and then we want to get you somewhere. No, that's not our target yet. Although I think in about 5 years, that's where we will get, because I believe that coding is a good skill to have, right? But I'm not here to talk about packages. I'm here to show you something a bit different. So here there is this simple login page here that you can use, and to log in on packages. And the way it works is like you put your login your email, and then it send you an email. You put your email address, and it sends you an email with a welcome page and so on and so forth, right? So and I got questions like, are you using NextJS? Are you using? No, I'm not using any of that. I kind of build it from scratch, but at the same time, I learned from quite some people here and there how to make it work really well. So the idea here is really to build a passwordless thing, right? That's it. That's all we're going to do. However, I'm not sure that I will be able to finish it in before like in about 40 minutes. We'll try to go really fast, and you can rewatch it in the slow-mo, right? But the idea here is just play with code and yeah, create amazing content for people out there. So let's get going. We're gonna need a little bit of like a terminal right there, and then here what I'm gonna do with that terminal, I'm going to don't know if you can see my screen there. So what we're going to do is to start with npm create, right? So we're gonna use the T3 app there, put it right there. So and now it's gonna ask us how we want to call it. We're gonna call it T3 login, right? That's gonna be a name of the app. Please don't use JavaScript, TypeScript, right? I'm gonna use Prisma, Tailwind, tRPC. That's the winning stack. I know NextJS can do quite some of this, but the idea there is to go without it. Okay. Enter, initialize the repo always, and then npm install. Please do so, and then let it do its job. Right now, once we have that, we just gonna quickly set up a few things here and get the ball rolling. But how you doing today? Good. And have you subscribed already to the YouTube channel? No? If not, click that button there, and they say that it's right below here, right there somewhere, and you can enjoy quite some stuff that are coming this year. I don't want to make any promises because I'm not good at keeping them on the long run, to be honest. What I'm good at is when I'm passionate about something, I will give it everything. And now I'm really at a place where I'm discovering this set of new technologies in the Web3 world, and that is getting me really excited about the future, but at the same time a bit scared. But that is normal when you're transitioning from your comfort zone to a place where you're in the learning mode. So we have the T3 login app here. So let's open that with gonna open that with Visual Studio Code. Okay, let's make that happen this way. And here we're just going to, I like to have that full screen, and then npm start. Let's see what we have. Oh, npm dev or yarn dev. Let's just do it yarn dev, right? So it's running here using this one, localhost 3001. So that's where we at. So that's what we got. And now what I'm going to do, just to have it speed up a little bit, just to have them side by side. Yes, I'm using Microsoft Edge instead of Chrome or any of these tools. And I'm gonna put it at the bottom and then put it full screen so we don't have much distraction, and then this thing completely at the bottom. So that's it. You can see that screen there. That's fantastic. So where do we go from there? Yeah, we have it running. So what I'm gonna do is just to go inside right there in the, so everything is kind of already configured. So we're just gonna quickly speed up and get to a place where we have a login and a button, and then we get that working. So in the page index, because I'm using Next.js, so I know that that's where everything is. What I'm going to do is to get rid of that entire thing here. So we should see everything gone. I'm just gonna say login page with tRPC, and yeah, okay. So let's give it a bit of color here, text, and then white because we can, and then let's give it a text LG bigger. Yeah, we do XL here, so it is way bigger. And now what I'm gonna do here is just to add a form, and what we're gonna be doing is to have, let's install, what do we have? Yeah, we're going to use the React hooks, or actually we don't even need that because I can go without it. So let me do this. So here we're gonna have an input that's gonna have the email placeholder, email, and we're going to have in here, yeah, a bit of like rounded, and then we give it a full width so we can get a bit of things here. So, and then I'm just gonna go with the button quickly here, and then we're gonna say, we're just gonna go with the simple on click and then say click handler. Right, so we're doing it here a little bit faster so we don't have to spend too much time on it. Calls click handler, and then we have that right there. Just for the moment, just gonna return null, and we should be good to go. We have a button, but we didn't give it email me this magic link, right? So that's what we have there. Apparently, it's not that visible. So class name, give it text white. But I also believe that I could do something that looks like this and then give them a gap of, let's say, 5. So we have a bit of space between them. Do we need, yeah, it doesn't really matter here. Oh, it does. Let me do this. Let me give it a 2. And then we're going to give it a border and then make it, it doesn't have to go full here, but actually we want the entire thing as a column. Do I want it in column? Yeah, that is correct, but why isn't it showing? So this is 1 and this is 2. Okay. Do I need a form? Yeah, I need a form. Let me put it like that. Flex call, and then we're gonna say with full, right? So that is much better. And then we just gonna say MX auto as well. I want to remove that from the border, so I'm going to say margin about 5. With the margin there, oh, let's say padding. Yeah, okay. So we remove that a little bit, and we can then put a little gap quickly here, and then a bit of space. This one, I'm gonna give it a padding of 2, so it looks a little bit, it looks much better. Okay, so we should be able to enter our email here and then click that button and then go somewhere, right? That's the first idea here. Let's do that. Let's add everyone. Initial commit. Okay, so once we have that, where do we go from there? We going to just write a login, like a way for people to enter the information and then send that back. But we're gonna do that in 2 ways. So the first one is write the backend part, and then we're gonna write the front end right after that. So on the backend part, what do we have? On the back end, I have tRPC, so probably have something called a router. So this here is an example of route, and what I'm gonna do here is I'm just gonna call that auth router because we're handling a whole focus stuff here, and we're gonna call so this public thing here, it comes from a tRPC configuration. You can just run the I mean, you're gonna have access to that code, so don't worry too much here. So what we're gonna need here, we're gonna need an email. So it's gonna be an email that we need. So that's the input with Zod right there, and that input there will arrive here as an input, and now we're going to receive that right here. So let's say const email is equal input email, right? So that's what we get. and we should be able to do something with it, right? And then send an email and so on. So let me just remove that from now. We don't need that greetings, and we can remove all of that from now. And we don't need this, right? So this is the login part, and it's called auth router. And what it does, you pass it right there, and instead of being a query, it's gonna be a mutation. That's it. That's basically the first starting point there. Hopefully you can see my screen properly. So this is the first starting point. What I'm gonna do here is to rename that into auth. Go to the root here, and then change this one. Instead of being this, I'm gonna call that auth router. And now this is what is interesting. You can create something that looks like a namespace, right? So I'm gonna call it auth and just pass auth router, which means that when we try to access, if you think of it as an endpoint, let me do that here. If you think of it as an endpoint, it's gonna be something like auth dot, and then you can say login, and then where is that login coming from? Yeah, it comes from that name here, right? So that's basically it. The mutation here, you can think of it as a post that you're making, and then you're gonna be passing a payload that is right, the email. That's pretty cool. Now that we have that, we're going to connect our database here, and then let's go to the schema. So this is Prisma, and the good thing we're going to have here is, yeah, do I want to use SQLite? It doesn't really matter. Yeah, it does matter. I want to use PostgreSQL here. So we're gonna do something really cool. So let's use Postgres, because why not? And so what I'm gonna do is to get us create a Docker compose file. tRPC login. We're gonna call that. Let me do that here. Copy that file. Yeah, we go here, and at the root of the project, we're gonna add a Docker config file. Let's put it there, and we need to give it a name. So it's basically a Docker file here, and we're gonna give it a name of the database live stream. Right, so that's the name. Doesn't really matter here, right? Names are really hard. So we have the name, and now we want to be able to quickly launch it. So what I'm gonna do is just to Docker ps, check that I have containers running here. So doesn't really matter. Does it matter? Let me just make sure that I can remove all of that. Docker stop. I know there is a command to stop all the container at the same time. Let me quickly look that up. Docker stop all containers and remove them. To stop and remove all container at once. Someone already said, run Docker compose down. Really? Okay. Docker compose down here, and nothing is happening. No resource find to remove the project T3, but Docker compose down is supposed to take down every single thing that is running in that project. So Docker ps. Guess what? I only have 2 of them, and I can do them like that. Docker stop this, and then take that one, and Docker stop this as well. And now I can say Docker ps. See that I don't have anything running there, so I can do Docker compose up. So now this is gonna create the thing for me. And now what we're going to do in our schema, we're going to do 2 things. We're gonna create a table that's gonna store the user. And then another table that's going to store the list of tokens. Like when the user connect, we're going to create a session for them and then put a list of, put their token into the database. So we're going to use that as a way to maintain the session between their navigation. So that's a user. We only need an email for that user, and we're going to make sure that that email is unique. And then I'm going to use a model here that is a login token. So what is that thing going to be? Oh yeah, okay. So that's the beauty of using something like Copilot, because yeah, that's also one of the things I expected that would help me go fast is I have something like Copilot right there, and once one of the benefit of something like Copilot is allows me to go really fast, to execute quickly on things right there. So now what we just need to do is to create a link between the user and the token there. So all the way here. So I believe that to do so, so now it's you got to think of like a relational database, right? And now I'm connecting the login token with the user. The login token has already a reference to the user, but I need to go the other way around, right? So, and here I just need to call it, let's say, yeah, login token. Let's just login token, and I'm gonna make sure that yeah, user can have multiple of them, or you can just set it to be like one exact token there. So look what's gonna happen. I just create two tables, right? And now if I go on to here, I'm just gonna run yarn Prisma generate. Boom. That's, you see, it's kind of, there were no issue right there. And then if I go inside my auth, I'm going to receive here as a parameter here a context, and that context there contains a reference to Prisma, right? And with that, what I could do is to say like, yeah, do something with the email, obviously. Thank you. So what I'm going to do is to say ctx.prisma, and now here I'm gonna create the user or check if that user exists, right? We're gonna have two situations here. Do you exist or not? So I'm gonna start with the creation part. And when you create a user, you're gonna pass data, just the email, right? The email comes from here, and you get the email like that. So that's the create a user if not exist, right? So that's basically the idea here. And then whenever we create, let me get that here. So whenever we create the user, we're gonna make sure we're going to make sure that the user, we have access to their email, and then we search for them. If they do exist, yeah, well, we just create a new token for them, and then we log them in again. If they don't exist, we then create a new account, and then we put them in there. So so what happened here is if we're going to check if email exists. So here we go. The way we're going to do that again: ctx dot prisma dot user find unique, and now we're just gonna find them where email is that, right? So here I'm gonna do that as existing user, and then put an await here like that. So await, async await here. So I got access to that, and then I say, okay, if the user exists, we're going to do something. If they don't exist, we're going to do something different there, right? So how can I do that? How can I make it so that I don't have to recreate the user twice? I don't have to do it twice there. So pretty easy approach here is to say, okay, that there is the user. It doesn't matter if they exist. So I'm going to say that if they don't exist, right? Or if the user that doesn't exist, so that's basically the fact that I'm creating that user there. If not, let me get that entire code, and then we're going to put it right there, and then call it user is equal, oh wait, this. I was hoping that this thing will work really well. So this is good. Well, now we have a situation where we get an email, and then with that email, we check that if the we check the user, right? If it exists, we have the user. Period. If it doesn't exist, well, we're going to do we'll create a user. We have now a new user here, and now with that information, what we're going to do is to create a token, right? Create a session token right here. And how do you do that? Well, thank you. You just have to do that. But instead of the session, we're going to call it the token, right? And I have right away help from the TypeScript telling me that there is a login token that exists there. When I try to use session, the thing GitHub Copilot created was like, hey, the quick to complete with session and things like that, but it doesn't exist. So with the help of TypeScript, I get that here. So when I create it, I just need to pass two things. So the data, what do I need for data? I just need to connect the user. Here's the thing. The user is connected to, if you go back to our schema, the user is connected to this thing through a relationship of one to many, right? So the way we're going to put it here is just to say in Prisma, we're going to say, so we have the data, and then the data we just pass the user, and then we say connect, because we have already the user. So we're just gonna say that ID is being connected to that user right there, right? And it seems like we're missing some information. So let's see what we have. We're gonna go to the schema and look for, so there is a token. And the token should be created, so I don't need the token there, because the token will be stored at the user level. That's for sure. Let me take that. So indeed, so we're gonna have the token at the user level, and we don't need the token at this stage here, right? So here we're basically creating a token, so we don't need that. But you see, now what I did here, I remove a field in the database, right? And the way you're gonna go about it is to say, okay, just remove a field, no problem. So let's just run Prisma generate. I want you to see that this thing is complaining, right? It is complaining. And then what we're gonna do that is just Prisma generate, and once we do that, right, boom, gone. Why it's gone? Because the generation will just regenerate the typing system, and then voila, that is gone here. So here, what is that thing is gonna do is gonna return us basically a token right there, and then we can then use it as a way to basically log the user in. But hey, we're far to be done, and my windows of at the time window is a bit it's getting a little bit tight here. So let's see what we have now. Once we have a token, and what we want to do next is send email with token, right? We want to send an email to the user with that token. So before we go there, you see now we have a simple thing working. We have user here, we can create a user, and then we have the token that we're gonna send over there. So let me just do a login here and then pass the token. Right. So now let's go back to our front here, pages, and then here we basically say that we're gonna need to use let me, sorry, it's cold out there. So now what do we have? We need to just get that information. So I'm just gonna use tRPC here. And with tRPC, that's not the one I need here. So let me, so tRPC, that's not the one I need. Indeed, that's not the one I need here. So I'm just gonna check into utils, and then inside utils here, I have, yeah, I just need a way to connect to the tRPC. So let's see where that thing is being configured. Yeah. Okay. So what we have app utils. So I don't need that part. So, but that is these are the things that are open. Don't need that. I need just to check on the. So we have the API here page that is not needed. So that's where we tRPC is being configured. And then at some point right below here, we need to access tRPC. Yeah, okay, that is good. And then inside here, we have the root that give us access to this. That's our auth. And then we have tRPC here. That's our DB. Oh, okay. So it seems like this is where we have it. So let's see what we get in return. Oh, okay, okay. So they call it API. So now I see why they call it. So let's see that pages, component, index here. So what we do with that is just say API. Now, with that API, you see right away that I have access to something called auth. And auth is that namespace that we created. And then next to that, when I do a dot, you're going to quickly see that we have access to the login, and the login itself was a mutation. So once I have access to that, what I'm going to do here, it's just a district duration here. The first thing that I'm going to do here is to get the mutate function. So you have mutate and then mutate async. I'm going to use mutate here. And I'm going to call that the login function, right? And what's gonna happen here is whenever so let's see here, I'm gonna login handler. Let's call that this way. Could have done that login handler, right? So that we get. And then with that login handler, what I want to do is to be able to call the login function, and right away you see that it knows that I need to pass an email, right? But we don't have that email yet here. So that's something we're gonna solve in a few minutes right now. So you see that we're gonna have we're gonna pass the email right there. So where do we get the email from? Well, we can do that in different ways. I'm gonna use a quick use state here. My preferred method here is often to use the use hook form, the use forms hook. That works really well. But here we're gonna do that. We're gonna do that with a simple use state. And then we're just gonna say email, set email like that. And then once we have that, we can make sure that const on change with React here, what we're going to do is to say set email to be that value, right? So, and then we're gonna go on in our input, on change, and then say on change or update email. Call it like that. It's naming is hard, but you can also learn how to do it right, and that's what I'm doing each day when I'm writing code. So now we know that that email is there, and we don't need to do anything here really, because we're passing that email directly this way, right? So we have it coming right there. So if I look at my my backend here, I have the auth. Let me go a little bit higher. We should be able to see that we log in the email coming in there this way, and we should be able to see in our database that the email is being created. So let me open the database here, and what we're going to do with that. Let me get this. Okay, I'm gonna have to change my database access right there. What do we have? Yeah. So we just connecting the database here, so we can see in real time what's happening. So let's go on the nth, and then here what I'm going to do is to just put the name of the database. So let's do that. Yeah. So this, replace it. Oh, what I wanted to do is to replace this one with this, and then say live stream right here, and then remove this from there. And so this is the name of the database. Let me exit that. Let me stop this one. Let me go back to F. It's here. So and then how about Docker Compose? It's here. So it's indeed that name. So what we could then do here is to say again Docker Compose up. Is not, it doesn't like it. So let's go back to file, and then here we should use the same mechanism here. Docker compose up here, doesn't like that. So we go back here. Yeah, and that should be much better. Docker compose up. What is happening? So database URL is good, and then it goes all the way till the end, and then that's it, right? Seems like this is much better. Go up. Ooh, working really well. And then you have this one still working. I like to have it as second. And then here we can still, you can run yarn dev. Okay. So our app should still be running. And now if I go on to the, let's close that. And then here we have a log. So what happened if we enter an email here and then type it here? We see that something happened, right? There was a kind of refresh there that happened, and that happened because in our index page, I can hear some of you saying like, "Hey, you didn't prevent defaults." Okay, sorry. And then here we go back with this. Click that. We see indeed that it's coming right here, and then it says invalid find unique here because it cannot reach the database. So it means that our database is not running properly. So Docker, oh, okay, that makes sense. No, our database is running, but here is the thing that we forgot to do. We forgot to initialize the database. So the way I'm gonna do that here is just to say yarn Prisma, and I'm just gonna say dev here. I believe that's gonna give me the initial thing. Oh, the database can't be reached. So let's do that. Let's check that. Database can't be reached means a few things. Docker PS, it's running. So let's try that again. Docker compose, Docker stop this. Docker compose up. Did I make a typo in the M file? So that's the name of the file. And then how about the compose? That's also the right name, password, and all of that should be all right. And then if I take that information here, and file here, it's just gonna take this one and drop it in beekeeper, connect to it. Connection refused. Why is that? So we don't have something about the connection here that is not working, and that's why it's not working either here. So let's debug that. Okay, maybe I need to kill all the orphans that are pending behind the scene. Docker kills orphans. Yeah, it sounds. The idea here is when I have a lot of it's probably some dead how do you call that again? Oh yeah, okay, it's remove orphan that I need to do. So Docker compose down and then remove orphans. Yeah, then Docker compose up. Let's see, do they have that in their package? No, they don't. They don't provide that here, but that also makes completely sense. Okay, so once we have that, can't establish connection still. Why is that? Why is that? Docker ls here. Oh, the Docker PS, sorry. So we have that, we have a container running. It says, oh, it says tRPC login progress. That is, yeah, but that's not the name. That's the name that it generates, but I want it to be called live stream. So what do we have here? What do we have here? Yeah, that works really well. So let me go to here. So that one is good. We have the port right there. I can maybe change the port, but that doesn't really make sense. So let's see, a bit stuck here, but I tried to run that. Postgres is good. Env, the env file is also pretty good. Let's see what we're having here. Env file is good. We're passing the right database, and then let me try again. So we're gonna bring it here, and then get a Postgres database, copy that entire thing. Boop, boop. Copy that here. Since there is no SSL needed. So yeah, database isn't connecting properly. So not sure what happened here. Okay, so let me, because I have to stop because I'm picking up my little boy at school, but I will pick up the stream again. Yeah. Okay, problem with the stream. There is someone in the chat. No, okay. Okay, fantastic. I'm gonna pause here because it's 45 minutes, didn't deliver on that. So I will probably see you again this evening. Cheers.